Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, sharpshooters. My name is Deadshot, and today we are back again with another Warframe build showcase. This time we are featuring Follie, the new Warframe that just dropped with the Shadowgrapher update. I'm sure a few of you have had the chance to obtain this Warframe and had a chance to play with her and her many utility options. Very interesting frame with some very interesting synergies with her weapon, the entangle. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the build. Starting out strong in the aura mod, we're going to be going with combat discipline, where we lose 10 health on kill, but our squad mates will gain 20. We are using this in conjunction with Arcane Avenger, which states on damage we have a 21% chance for a 45% critical chance for 12 seconds. This is a final critical chance modifier, so this will apply after all of the mods on your weapon and anything else that might boost that critical chance. So very useful. This helps increase your chance of red crits exponentially. With the Exalus mod slot, we are rocking, of course, Prime Surefooted, the only mod for the slot. Keeps us on our feet and prevents us from being knocked down. Very lovely. We're going to use adaptation, as this synergizes very well with her 3 and its damage reduction. So you end up with a shit ton of damage reduction. I think you end up with like 99.99 or something stupid like that. It's really dumb. So you barely take any damage. We're going to be using stretch for a little bit of range. Augur secrets for more ability strength. We're going to be using that with blind rage as well to boost that strength a little bit further, rocking up to that 238% strength. We've got Constitution in there for faster knockdown recovery and the ability duration, but this is more for the 28% ability duration over anything else. This is going to be used alongside Prime Continuity to give us 183% ability duration. This is going to work very well with our 3. It's going to work well with our 1. And it's going to work well with our 4. Prime Flow for the energy capacity. And equilibrium for the health to energy and energy to health conversion. Most importantly, health to energy. And we're going to finally be using Molt Augmented just for that small increase in ability strength at 250 kills. I say small, but realistically it's 60%, so it's going to give us almost 300% ability strength once we hit 250 kills. For Archon Shards, we went with 2 yellow Archon Shards for casting speed. 1 Tau Forge Archon Shard for ability strength, and 2 Emerald Archon Shards for the corrosive stacks. This is going to give us 100% armor strip at 14 stacks of corrosive, and considering these 2 abilities are going to be proccing a lot of corrosive, I think that we're going to be stacking more than enough to strip armor. It strips a lot of armor. Moving on to the Encaus. I haven't had a chance yet to get an exhaust. Oh, no, I have had the chance to do that. Haha. So real quick, we will slap a mod in there, and I want to put on reach for that increase of ability range. And we are going with a cold dominant build as much as we can here because of the way that the Encaus works, and it's going to synergize well with Shivering Contagion and Primary Frostbite, which is going to give us more multi-shot and more critical damage. Our unique trait, our alt fire sprays ink that will stain enemies. Shooting ink stained enemies with the Encaus draws ink back into the weapon to reload and dissolves enemies when their health drops below 35%, which is incredibly powerful, and that works even on acolytes. When wielded by Follie, foes are also inflicted with ink blot. This is going to help increase the DPS of Follie by quite a bit. As well as it being a status-based build, we are going to be focusing on things like status damage with Rifle Elementalist, Rhyme Rounds for that increase in status chance, and the Cold to get our Cold build underway. Magnetic Capacity for a little bit more mag capacity and that increase in magnetic damage. We're going to be using Bane mods to increase our damage, as that is going to double dip in damage. You get that 55 increase to your base damage, as well as the 55% increase to your status effects. So we're going to be utilizing that portion. And now I'm pretty sure I had... Yeah, that works. because we're going to be doing an orchid-based mission, so we're going to have to change that mod. Shivering Contagion is going to give this weapon a little bit more AoE, so we're going to be proccing cold for a little bit of a wider range. So we're going to get up to 6 meters with Shivering Contagion. Base damage modifier is going to be Amalgam Serration with 155% base damage and 25% sprint speed. Very useful. Galvanized Aptitude for more status chance and the direct damage. And then Galvanized Chamber for the stacking multi-shot to synergize as well with Primary Frostbite. And on the cold status effect, you can see we gain plus 3% critical damage and plus 2.25% multi-shot for 12 seconds. And that stacks to 40 times. Makes it very powerful. Our secondary is going to be the Kit Gun, Miss Moxie's Bad Such. I love this Kit Gun. It's been a favorite of mine for a very long time. So we got a very kind of basic build going on here. Amalgam Barrel Diffusion for the multi-shot and dodge speed. Jolt for the status and turning this weapon from toxic into corrosive because it's the Bad Touch. It's got to be corrosive. Lethal Torment for the multi-shot and fire rate. Merciless Gunfight for the critical damage and punch through. Got a Riven on there just for fun. I ended up rolling this, I can't remember how long ago now, but if you don't have this, you can replace this with any other base damage multiplier like Hornet Strike, or you can replace it with more critical damage, or you can replace it with more critical chance or an element if you wish. But a Riven is definitely not required for your builds to do tons of damage for sure. Then we got Prime Pistol Gambit for more critical chance, Fulmination for the range, and Target Cracker for the critical damage. And finally, we have our melee of choice, which is going to be the Praedos for 2 reasons and 2 reasons only. Evolution 2, Drifting Grace, the sprint speed and slide bonuses from that, which is going to increase our overall movement. And then we have Evolution 4, which is going to give us more parkour velocity. Very useful, and it's going to make your bullet jumps insane. And finally, for a pet of choice, of course, it's the one and only Alucard, with a very generic pet build going on here. The two, trying to remember what the frickin' default mods for these are. Ability mods, I guess. Anyways, the 2 default mods for the Vasca are Draining Bite, which inflicts 5 stacks of slash at 150% of its melee damage and restores 10% of its health to itself. Very useful. And then you have Transfusion, which basically means that if you do skill issue, you get at least 1 free revive every once in a while from your cat, which means that you don't need it to come from an ally or anything of the such. Then we've got the 2 synth mods so that we can perpetually pick up the health orbs, and synth deconstruct so that we have more health orbs to pick up. Animal Instinct, Loot Radar, Enemy Radar, very basic, very useful, just basically here for the utility. Sharpened Claws, Armor Strip, even more useful. We already have Armor Strip, but you can never go wrong with a little bit more. Besides, this is a pretty generic build that I use for Alucard as it is. Tenacious Bond for that final critical damage multiplier, very lovely. Resourceful Retriever, because I like picking up resources, so this is going to give me an 18% chance to double those pickups. Enhanced Vitality for the increase in health. This will increase its chance of surviving after it revives you as well. And then Fetch, just so that you have that pickup range. Claws, Radiation, Magnetic Slash, and Viral, all coming from Precision Conditioning, Bite, Frost Jaw, Venom Teeth, Magnetic Claws, and Radon Claws. And then to increase the damage further, we have Call the Weak, so non-critical hits deal plus 240% more damage. And because we only have a 64.5% critical chance, there's a better chance to proc this, and it hurts them even more. And then you have Swipe to hit 4 additional targets. Now, to show this build off and its effectiveness, we are going to go and pick the highest level mission in the star chart on Seal Path, which I am not on. Pop over to Lua. Pop over to the Circulus. We are going to do it with the Omnia Fissure. Grab any relic that we feel like. So this base level starts at 200. So anything lower than this on your star chart, your build for Follie should be sufficient if it looks similar to what I've done. And no, you don't need the maxed out best version of every single mod. But I won't say that it doesn't help. Let's use that pistol to take these guys out. Okay, that would be my luck. Come on now.
You're near a fissure. The Orican Neural Sentry is attempting to purge
Thanks,
you from this place. Stand by.
This is just rude. But now we have a chance. Gonna wrap them all up. And then I can send them all up into balloons and take them all out. And the more you take out, the bigger your self-portrait grows. The bigger your self-portrait grows, the more damage reduction you get. And that'll stack with your adaptation, resulting in lots of damage reduction. And then, of course, we can barrel them. That's the other benefit to using Ensnare for our Helmness ability, is that I can just drop a barrel on them. And going over the wheel, you got lots of things you can pick from. Some of the more useful things being a lock surge that you can draw and utilize. We're going to mainly use the explosive barrel, as it is a great source of damage. The end couch is very questionable. Like, as long as you're doing semi-decent damage and stacking it fairly well, it can do some work. And then especially once they get below that certain health threshold, they're done. Plain and simply. That's fun. These drones are trying so hard to hold these enemies together. That's hilarious. Yeah, if you get into too much trouble, you can cast your 4. That'll suspend all the enemies up in the air. Hit them with that ink blot. Alright, we can't be forgetting to fire our alt fire, which is also going to help us increase the strength of our 4. All of the corrosive damage is increasing the stacks, so it's going to strip their armor. You can also choose things like the rocket launcher. Which similarly does a lot of damage to the barrel. But this doesn't have a recharge on it, and it's hilarious to use. Let's be so real.
Oculists, if they scan you, sentient fighters won't be far behind.
Dropping a barrel on your enemies is Just, it's so worth it. Now thinking, do you need adaptation on this build? Maybe not. Maybe it's a little bit redundant. But if it keeps you alive longer, is it really that dumb?
The longer you hold out, the deeper I can search.
All right, and you can see mission complete, fairly easy. I don't care about that. Bratton Prime Blueprint, love that, love that. Oh, okay, all right.
Hiding Lua in the void risked the unfathomable. I fear we are seeing the consequences of that risk now. Destroy these void-stained enemies. All manner of Orokin technology may work here due to the Circulus's proximity. If you have a necromech, you may use it.
Ooh. Misery's trying. I don't really feel like fighting him though. So yeah, that's Follie. Kind of a beast in her own right. Lots of damage reduction and lots of debuffing of the enemy. As well as just barreling them, because, you know, why not? Just hit them with barrels. But that's going to be all from me today, folks. Please do give yourselves this build a... That was English. Give this build a try for yourselves. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below and how it worked out for you. And if you think that you have another way to approach this build or you have other ideas, I would love to hear about it. But for now, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next build showcase.